Philippines calls China for unprovoked coercion in South China Sea. Bipartisan U.S. bill could force ByteDance to divest TikTok. Farmers' protest restart amid tight security at Delhi's borders. Ukraine claims it has sunk another Russian warship.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Thursday, March 7th, and here are your top stories. The Philippines on Tuesday accused China of unprovoked acts of coercion and dangerous maneuvers in a disputed area of the South China Sea, saying Chinese ships had fired water cannons at one of its vessels, injuring some crew. A Philippine task force on the South China Sea said in a statement, China's actions put into question the sincerity of its calls for peaceful dialogue and lessening of tensions. Philippine vessels, which were carrying out a resupply mission for Filipino troops near the Second Thomas Shoal, were harassed and blocked by Chinese maritime militia and Coast Guard ships.
China claims almost the entire South China Sea, which includes the Second Thomas Shoal, and has deployed vessels to patrol the disputed atoll which lies within the Philippines' Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ. The shoal, known in the Philippines as Ayungin, is home to a small number of Filipino troops stationed on a rusting warship which Manila grounded there in 1999 to reinforce sovereignty claims. Tuesday's incident was the latest in a series of maritime run-ins between the Philippines and China, which have been locked in a territorial dispute in the South China Sea despite a 2016 ruling by the Permanent Court of Arbitration which found that China's claims had no legal basis. Beijing rejects that ruling.
A group of U.S. lawmakers has introduced a bill that would require Chinese tech giant ByteDance to sell off the popular video-sharing TikTok app within 6 months or face a ban. For years, American officials have raised concerns that data from the app could fall into the hands of the Chinese government. A bipartisan set of 19 lawmakers introduced the legislation on Tuesday. TikTok called the bill a disguised outright ban. In a statement announcing the bill, the lawmakers said applications like TikTok that are controlled by foreign adversaries pose an unacceptable risk to U.S. national security.
The bill would give ByteDance 165 days to divest, or it would be blocked from the App Store and web hosting platforms in the U.S. TikTok is one of the most popular apps in the U.S., especially among younger people. This is the latest attempt by U.S. lawmakers to place restriction on the app. Senators introduced legislation to block the app last year, but the move stalled after lobbying from the company. Former President Donald Trump tried to ban the application completely in 2020, though the move was also unsuccessful. The application is also banned on government devices, though President Joe Biden's re-election campaign made an account last month. The House Energy and Commerce Committee said it would consider the latest bill on Thursday.
Thousands of Indian farmers are trying to march once again to the capital Delhi to demand minimum price guarantees for their crops. The farmers had suspended their strike at the end of February after a young farmer died during the protest. To prevent the march, Delhi's borders are heavily barricaded and police have been deployed. The farmers' protests have restarted even as India is just months away from holding general elections. Farmers are an important voting bloc in the country, and analysts say the federal government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi would not want to antagonize them so close to the polls.
When the farmers' protests first resumed in the beginning of February, the government had held talks with unions to stop them from marching to Delhi from the neighboring states of Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. Talks with the government broke down at least 3 times after the authorities could not meet all of their demands. Apart from assured pricing, the farmers have also demanded pensions for the elderly and asked the government to waive their debts. The protesters have said the government should double the number of workdays under Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme from 100 to 200. The farmers also want India to withdraw from the World Trade Organization, WTO, and scrap all free trade agreements.
Ukraine claimed Tuesday it has sunk another Russian warship in the Black Sea using high-tech sea drones as Kyiv's forces continue to take aim at targets deep behind the war's front line. Russian authorities did not confirm the claim. The Ukrainian military intelligence agency said a special operations unit destroyed the large patrol ship Sergei Kotov overnight with Magura V5 uncrewed vessels that are designed and built in Ukraine and laden with explosives. The patrol ship, which Ukraine said was hit near the Kerch Strait, reportedly can carry cruise missiles and around 60 crew.
The Ukrainian claim could not immediately be independently verified, and disinformation has been a feature of the fighting that broke out after Russia's full-scale invasion of its neighbor in February 2022. Kyiv's forces are struggling to keep the better-provisioned Russian army at bay at some points along the largely static 1,500-kilometer front line, but are also taking aim at targets deep beyond the battlefield. Last month, Ukraine claimed it twice sank Russian warships using drones. On February 1st, it claimed to have sunk the Russian missile-armed corvette Ivanovets, and on February 14th it said it destroyed the Caesar Kunikov landing ship. Russian officials did not confirm those claims. Kyiv officials say some 20% of Russian missile attacks on Ukraine are launched from the Black Sea, and hitting Russian ships there is embarrassing for Moscow.
The answer for yesterday was C, deviated. He never deviated from his original plan. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Ukraine claims it has sunk another Russian warship. Number 1, laden. 装满的,装载的. The trees were laden with apples. Number 2, explosive. 炸药,爆炸物. The bomb was packed with several pounds of high explosive. Number 3, provision. 提供,供给,供应品. The provision of specialist teachers is being increased. Next, we have a multiple-choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.